Everyone plays up slow. Everyone in blue, the street that is blue. Every time you play so slow, makes me wanna groove. The street that is blue. When I hear you play, it makes me say, ooh.
Welcome to Seniors Matter.
Every time I hear the
I'm Brenda Charles Edwards, the host of Seniors Matter. We are live every Friday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on www.rainieravenueradio.world, your community radio station. You can also watch at YouTube, Facebook, Twitch TV, Twitter, and of course on the Rainier Avenue Radio App. We feature interviews with people that provide services or have valuable information for seniors, their families, and the community. Do you need financial documents notarized? Are you a person that needs documents read to you for clarity or completion? Call me, Brenda, at Black Orchid Notary, 206-683-2636. Tell me where, I'll meet you there. My guest today is Ms. Winona Hollins Hauge. She is a graduate of the University of Washington with a master's degree in clinical social work. She is a former officer of the U.S. Public Health Service, manager of social work for Children's Hospital, Odessa Brown Clinic, outreach manager for Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center, and served as vice president of the Washington State Association of Black Professionals in Healthcare. Well, it looks like we're having technical difficulties. I know Winona's out there in the world because I talked to her earlier, but I'm not seeing her on the show. So, Sister Winona, if you can hear me, if you can't get in, then call me. I did text the link to you. So if you can't get in, just call me by your phone and we'll make it work. So in the meantime, have you, or should I say, do you know what's the best gift we can give ourselves and to our family?
Okay. Brenda?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, great.
Hey, there she is.
I'm here.
All right.
The camera might be a problem, but we are good to go for the information that we need to discuss today.
Well, that's the main thing. I mean, I can see you anytime, but unfortunately they can't. But I want you to know, folks, if you don't know her, she's a beautiful looking woman and inside too. Welcome to the show, Winona. How are you?
I'm well, and thanks so much. I'm very honored to have this opportunity to be with you today, and we're excited about the interview.
I know, because you guys are doing some wonderful things, and this is going to be a great event. So,
Indeed.
Let's talk about who are the coordinators for this workshop.
Yeah, thanks for asking. I'm working very closely with Brenda Carr Nelson from First AME Health Ministry. She's the coordinator there. I am the coordinator for the Mount Zion Health Ministry. And together we are coordinating with both of the churches, along with several of our, what we call it, our community partners, sponsor partners. And those sponsor partners are NCNW, of which you are past president of, Good Health Wins Project there, Grandmothers Against Gun Violence, and the two churches. So we are the lead organizers for this particular event that will happen this Saturday, tomorrow, for health and wellness.
And tell them where.
It's happening tomorrow in the community at the Lakewood Seward Park Community Club, which is located at 4916 South Angeline Street, Seattle, Washington, 98118.
And that's a great place, too. You guys did a great job with that.
Wonderful.
So, Winona, what was the vision of these two churches coming together?
We thought that we could easily have hosted, and we all do, our own health fairs
Right.
separately in our own silos. However, we thought this might be a great opportunity for First African Methodist Episcopal Church and Mount Zion Baptist Church to come together and sponsor a community event that would be held in the community as opposed to in the church house. So
Right.
that was our thought about that.
Well, I think that's a great thought because looking at the list of, speakers that you guys have,
Yes.
that I just looked at the first time I saw it, I said, whoa, wait a minute. And then I started looking, I said, oh, I know some of these people. Yeah, this is going to be great.
Yes, it is. It's wonderful. And we always have, as we call him, our rock, Dr. John Vassell.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Yes, formerly with Swedish. He and Dr. Rayburn Lewis they are the Rock of Gibraltars for the medical community here in Seattle, Washington. And now in his new role, he's retired from Swedish, but he's still working with the Washington State University. And
Really?
we're pretty excited about that.
I
Yes.
know. That's
Yes.
wonderful.
Yeah, so we're happy with that. And the first panel he'll be the co-host and lead along with myself. And the first panelists are Dr. Kim Holland, retired
Head
medical
on.
doctor. Yes, Dr. Tracy Hilliard out of the UW Culture and Public Health will be her topic. Dr. Phyllis Gearing Anderson, First Lady of Fame.
Oh.
We'll talk about hypertension and you.
Mm.
And Dr. Anita Cannell, a retired OBGYN doctor, very familiar and very famous in the community.
Yes.
And because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we are having a special guest because those were our top doc panelists, Black docs. We're having a special guest, Dr. Natasha B. Hunter from the University of Washington SCCA. She's an oncologist for the SCCA, and Fred Hutchinson. And so because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we have brought her in to do a special talk to the audience along in the panel for this particular event.
Oh, that's going to be great because I know I've had a couple of doctors on, and the one thing that affects us as African American women is triple negative breast cancer.
Exactly.
And
we
so
have a high mortality rate for
Yes.
that. And also the lack of early detection are two of the areas. Oh, great. That's wonderful. I guess you can see me on the phone.
That's my producer.
You have a great producer. Thank you.
I do.
Thanks so much. So, so we're really excited about this whole concept, and we can't wait. Even the weather is holding out for us here.
It's going to be nice tomorrow.
That's right. That means that Tony, who is going to be doing our exercises, Tony Ford Bailey, can do them outside.
Yeah, I saw her the other day, and I said, oh my gosh, it's been ages since I've seen you.
Well, she's right down at the Rainier Beach Center, always on Mondays doing, I guess, water aerobics. And then on Wednesdays, I've been a part of her Zumba class in the evenings on Wednesdays. So
I've taken her class before. Ooh,
right.
She works you. She works you.
That's what they said. Be ready if you're going to get work. But before she comes on, we're going to have some stretching by our own Maddie Taplin.
Maddie.
Yeah, Maddie Taplin, who for years has been doing work with the community center. She just recently was with the Ballard Community Center, and years ago she was with Central Area Community Center. Yeah. So we have her doing the stretching and getting people ready to get worked out there.
We'll need it.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I love it. So who are some of the panelists for the second hour?
So the second hour, and before we get to the second hour, let me tell you let me give you the lay of the land, just so people can figure out when it's best for them to come and use their time wisely. Well, right in the morning, right at 9, between 9 and 9:15, people are just going to be collecting themselves to do a walk and talk. And that walk and talk is going to be guided by Dr. Kim Holland, who before she retired from Kaiser was doing walk and talks in the community for seniors.
Yes.
And so she has a crew that already misses her and is all anxious to be there to get started with that walk and talk in the morning. So that's going to happen at 9. Then they'll come back, circulate back, and be back by about, I'd say they'll be there by about 10, back with just a half hour around the block, and then about 10 they'll be back in for the opening stretching that Maddie will be doing. Maddie will be doing the opening stretching exercises, and then about 10:15, Tony Ford Bailey comes in and she'll
Mhm.
do the Zumba, and then we'll do a Zumba for a half hour, and then we'll have a 15-minute break to go to the tables because we have
Ah,
exhibitors and tables from the resource tables. We have them from the African American Reach and Teach. We have the
oh,
Central
great.
Area Senior. We have the Center for Multicultural Health with Eudora Carter.
Mhm.
We
She's
have,
great.
oh yes, we have, and she actually works with Mount Zion and First AME. She's a member of First AME, but she works to
Right.
support both of those health ministries. And then we'll have the Seattle section table for National Council of Negro Women. We'll have the Good Health Wins
Mm.
with NCNW. And then we'll have the AARP with NAMI table
Oh,
that your people talked to
good.
me about the last event that I saw them at.
Wonderful.
Black
Wonderful.
Black
Mhm.
coffee, and
Yes.
then the AA recovery. There's going to be a table for those that have been in recovery from alcoholism and other drugs. They are a part of our ministry, and we always love to have them. And we have our Mount Zion Prison Ministry folks will also have some brochures and some information there at the Mount Zion Health table. And of course, the 4Cs, everybody has to have a little information from the Seattle Cares Mentoring Program that's connected with the national program with Susan Taylor. So we have
Oh,
within
right.
that section, also, I believe that Zetas will have some information out on where to get your vaccinations now, this time
Mm.
of the year. So we are just really doing well, not to mention safe storage is going to be a big thing, and that's with the Grandmothers Against Gun Violence, an organization of which I am the chair of diversity, founding chair of
Yeah.
diversity and equity. And we will have a safe storage table with Sarah Dean, who is the NCNW Rocky Mountain president. We're going to be working together with Grandmothers Against Gun Violence, which actually they are also supporting our refreshments for this event as well. And they will have a table on safe storage, and they'll also be featuring the Rise group, which is we gave gift baskets to young families who have lost a loved one to gun violence. Well, we
Mhm.
have a relationship with an organization called Rise for Us. And these are young women who've lost a loved one and their children. And so we are actually, I mentioned children because we're inviting children to come. We have Black Coffee sponsoring a double Dutch
Oh, gosh.
demonstration.
Well, that's gonna be great. They're gonna love that,
And some older folks can get in there and double Dutch themselves.
or at least hold the rope.
Right. So that's going to happen after the first panel, and then between 12:30 and 1, people are encouraged to go to those different vendors and see what's on their table for information and all that. And then um, we will go from there. We'll move on to the second panel.
But before you go on, I have a
Mhm.
question.
Sure.
What is, and I know all this will probably be explained there, but what is safe storage? Is that for guns?
Yes, yes, yes.
Ah,
That's if you happen to have a weapon in the
okay.
home. Because I don't know if you're aware, but most recently, a lot of toddlers or children
Yes,
have gotten a hold of their
yes.
parents or
It's
a
awful.
family member's, gun that wasn't stored properly.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's also that threat of just making sure that we have proper storage for those who do own guns or and that they're safely stored. And there's a whole literature, bunch of literature and information on how to safely store. And they have gun lock safes and things that people that don't carry weapons probably don't, wouldn't have a use for. But
Right.
but it's good to know that for those that do. And to
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. So, I'm sorry to interrupt in that, but
No problem.
I thought, what is that? Okay. So go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So now, in that middle of the section there, we will have Alfreda on the second panel, which starts at 1 o'clock. We will have Alfreda Lanier, who is a retired dental hygienist. Her topic, why oral health matters. And
Mm,
people don't realize sometimes that people find out that they have diabetes or they have other chronic diseases through their dentist, because
right.
dentists sometimes make those diagnoses that something else is going on by just looking at the health of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And so she and I used to work, I was a manager and she was a manager at Odessa Brown Children's Clinic many, many years ago for Children's Hospital.
Right.
And we've kept our relationship. And so I was tapping her to come back out and talk to us, even though she's retired. But she's also invested because she's a member of the First AME Health Ministry. So
Of course.
yeah, then we'll go to the school situations, school safety, and the whole concept of safety for our children. That's going to be explored very closely with the next three people that will be doing their talks and discussions. And first up is Minda Michelle Maddox. She is a community relations coordinator, and she'll be talking to mothers, families, and youth and dads about financial wellness for youth and families. How to get a child organized and aware. I know when we were growing up, remember, we used to take pride in having our little Washington Mutual savings books. I think I
Yes.
think we learned to
Wasn't it called
appreciate,
a saving book pass or
yeah,
something? Yeah.
right, our passport or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we, I mean, even at our old at our your
Hey,
younger
watch it.
tender age, we were aware of our pennies and savings
Yes.
even back in the day. So we don't know that children these days are financial literacy doesn't seem to be being taught. And so sometimes, you can avoid credit problems or getting caught up
Mm-hmm.
into things early if you're trained and you have that information. So we
I agree.
drafted her to help not only the families but the children and the families. Also, Lynette Mitchell, who
Oh,
our own Lynette Mitchell from
yes, yes, yes.
Mount Zion Health Ministry, is being drafted back. She gave a presentation to our Mount Zion every second Sunday night, which would be this second Sunday night as well. I'll give a plug for that. We use 1-425-436-6306 with a passcode of 147230. I'm going to repeat that. Every second Sunday, Mount Zion's Health Ministry uses 1-425-436-6306 with a passcode of 147230. That is used for a health line on second Sundays of every month. Usually it's the prayer line, but on the second Sunday, which will be this Sunday, October 9th, oh no, October 8th,
October 8th.
yeah, October 8th, we will be using that same prayer line. And I hope that your listeners will come on. The reason being is that we're going to be recognizing the recipient of the Dr. Patricia Dawson Endowment. There was a fellow, a doctor at the University of Washington, Dr. O. Notary. She is the recipient of the funding that the UW started in an endowment for the late Dr. Patricia Dawson, who was always at Mount Zion
Yes.
doing work and helping us as a consultant and as a personal friend. And so there are monies that are being put out now, that have been put out and invested in this. And it's coming through the Office of Equity with Dr. Bessie Young and Dr. Paula Houston. And as a result of that, there will be life saving techniques and training that's going to be taught in the churches and in the community as a whole. This means that we are going to be the benefactors of life giving, even though, Patricia is gone, did a great job as a breast cancer surgeon and researcher, but her legacy will live on because it's training community people, particularly targeting inner city community people, on how to save lives. Now, this is meaning no longer do they use the mouth to mouth resuscitation when somebody's having an emergency or cardiac arrest. They have a new technique that we're going to be trained on, some of the first in the community to be trained on how to do it using your hands. What's where the positioning is that helps to save lives using your hands. It's a special technique that we're going to be taught by doctors out of the University of Washington, and particularly this doctor who received the grant is a cardiac surgeon. And so she's a sister who's a cardiac surgeon,
All right.
and she got the funding from Pat Dawson Endowment, and she could figure out what ways she wanted to use it, and she's using it to save lives. And so we're going to be the
Great.
first place that she's going to demonstrate that, and she'll be on our call this Sunday night at on the Mount Zion call to tell us when she's coming to Mount Zion and when we'll be able to receive that information. So
And
really
what time is
excited.
that again, Winona?
That's at 7:30 p.m. every second Sunday on 1425 436 6306, passcode 147230. And that's not a Zoom. That is a free telephone line. So just
Right.
want people not to look up their Zoom and look for it.
They won't find it.
No, they won't.
And I just want to say something real quick. Do you know what's the best legacy we can give ourselves and our loved ones? If you don't, join me on Zoom for a group or individual session on legacy end of life planning. Now, back to my wonderful guest, Miss Winona Hollins Hauge. Continue on about the health and wellness fair for tomorrow, please.
Yes, and so the third speaker will be Lynette Mitchell. And as I was starting to announce her, she is a part of our health ministry, and she'll be on this Sunday night as well. Last month, she talked to us about the subject she's going to talk to at the fair, and it's called the fentanyl crisis. And what can you do to avoid the impact, a negative impact and outcomes of the fentanyl crisis? And she's a healthy schools coordinator for the Seattle Public Schools. So that's her job. And she came to us last month, and she will.
What happened? She came to you last month and asked if she could make a presentation on this program that she's now working with. So, just to repeat that the health and wellness fair is tomorrow. Excuse me. Yeah, tomorrow. That's Saturday. At the is that her again? Oh. All right, Daniel, now. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, folks. I don't mean to be laughing, but you had to be here to understand what's going on right now. But at the Lakewood Seward Park Community Center from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And there, as Miss Winona had said earlier, there's going to be all types of exercise. I know there's going to be some food, and there's going to be some wonderful panels going on. I'm just sorry that I won't be able to make it, but trust me, you will definitely enjoy it. You'll learn so much because they're wonderful speakers that they have. And these people have been around for a long time. A couple of them I've had on my show previously. And as they say, they know their stuff. So I hope that you will take that opportunity. And if you can't stay for the panel, at least get the workout, because ooh, that Zumba, I took it once and I said, okay, I don't know if this is for me because I need to get in better shape to try this class out. But it's wonderful. It really is. And if you like to swim, on Mondays, she's there and she will take care of you, get you where you need to be. So, Miss Winona, can you hear me? Okay. So, I think we wound up with Lynette. I have about 2 minutes left, and then I have to get off the air because there's somebody coming on after me. You know how that is.
I know how that is. Can you hear me, Brenda?
I hear you, and I have my phone up to the microphone too.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we just want to wrap really quickly with the last two speakers. We have Mr. Tremaine coming out of the Alliance for Gun Responsibility. He is replacing the City of Seattle gun prevention provider, Davita Briscoe, who had a loss in her immediate family. And Tremaine is with the Gun Alliance, and they've done a lot of work in the community around this issue. And he's very well versed and has been working in partnership with the mayor's office. So he is stepping in for Miss Davita Briscoe, who also had lost a loved one, a son, a loved one, companion, and her brother was killed by the police. So we really always will miss Miss Davita Briscoe's personal stories and why the mayor chose her to be his gun prevention coordinator. But due to family issues, she's not available to come. But Tremaine will represent the Alliance for Gun Responsibility on tomorrow's panel. And our final person on the panel is the mental health specialist, Reverend Shirley Lights-Held. She's a co-founder of Living with Purpose Counseling. She and I work together at Therapeutic Health Services under Dr. Shalon Irvin, and she will wrap up what it takes to be healthy and stay well for the community. Finally, tomorrow, as we wrap up at 2:30 to 3 o'clock, Eudora Carter from the Center for Multicultural Health and Dr. Bishop Gwendolyn Coates, the divinity minister, will go to each of the roundtables, and you'll get a chance to actually talk to each of the roundtable people. That will be a very important part of our wrap-up. And for those that have done all that they want to do with the listening, they can go do the final walk and talk from 3 to 4. So from 3 to 3:30. There is a final wrap walk and talk with Dr. Kim Holland and some of her my Delta sorority sisters.
Hey, Winona, I gotta go, hon. They're
Okay.
waving cut at me. So
Thanks for having us on.
I did tell them when you weren't on that, reminding them tomorrow from 10 to 4 at the community center. I love you. I'll talk with you later. God bless. And everyone, watch football because they're RAR is there in live. Bye.